welcome to the Successory Show, episode 13. We just got back literally like 10 minutes ago from California, so from airport to podcast, here we are. And we're going to be discussing your passion and its price.
That's correct.
That is correct.
In this episode, we might say that the price is wrong, Bobby.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Oh, it was bitch. It's very emphatic.
It's hard to go from Billy Madison to Happy Gilmore and not, get the lines wrong.
And he's really emphatic about how much of a bitch Bob Barker is.
The best of when Bob Barker walks away, jab in the air, like, still got it. So we're episode 13. We literally just got back from California. Normally we record these on Sunday morning when we're like fresh and lively, and of course we were not fresh and lively. We're uncaffeinated at the moment, which is a rarity since it's like 8 p.m. here, and we're not going to do that before we go to bed. I still talk this fast. You may have always thought it was the caffeine. No, it's just me. So we're going to be talking about the passion and its price and what it cost you. And this was something we were talking about in the car ride home because technically this was our vacation. Technically. Like, it was a meet and I didn't have to be there, but I chose to be there. And Riley, of course, came with me. And she had an athlete competing on Saturday. We were flying on Saturday, but we literally flew to California. All across, we had a connecting flight, so it was a 7.5-hour travel experience. We flew to California, got a rental car, checked into the hotel, changed our clothes, drove over to Ironmonger's gym, and I had a deadlift session with Jensen, Chris Bridgeford, Dan Clancy, Rick Simmons was there, a young man, Keith pulled his first 700-pound deadlift. That was really close to 25-pound per hour, just some queuing, which was really, really awesome. Riley was deadlifting, and Chris Bridgeford was benching. That's usually you get stuck benching, everybody else is deadlifting, so that was a fun twist of fate there. But it was a fun trip. So literally Saturday, we were off the plane, changed our clothes, went over to deadlift, and a couple of them were my clients, so we were working on different things, cues and stuff like that. And then we went right back from the deadlift party to our room so we can get back to work because we had to finish programs, we had to send them out, we had to review videos, we had to respond to athletes the whole night. And that was Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, we went right to the meet. We had breakfast, we were at the meet. From the meet, we then, Chris, myself, and you changed our clothes and drove south to California Elite Training Center to meet with Gracie to discuss some things, and of course we lifted again. So I basically deadlifted Friday, conventional, deadlifted against sumo on Saturday, and then squatted on Sunday.
Yep.
And my body was crying, and when we finished having this conversation and finished lifting, we then went back to our hotel, and guess what we did? We went to work. Went to work, finishing up the rest of the program, responding to people, sending things out, reviewing videos, giving cues, only to get up 4 hours later and get to our rental car drop-off, back on a plane across the country, get programs done, send them out when we get Wi-Fi at the airport, and then eventually make our way back home, and we lose 3 hours in time isn't different. So here we are, I'm still as energized and fast. How was your weekend?
Well, I don't think it's quite energized. I think it's delusional.
Let me live my delusions, damn it.
So yeah, it was a really great weekend. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff packed into one weekend, but that's kind of a glimpse of what it is. Like if you coach or you're a lifter, like you know how meet weekends are and how busy they are. And if you're a full-time coach and like this is your job, you know that going to meets means that is, 12 hours away from your phone, not checking videos, not doing any programming, nothing like that. So it gets a little daunting when you walk out of the meet, you look at your phone and there's 100 text messages or like 100 DMs of like all these client videos that you have to do. And, so that was really fun for the weekend too, which every time we checked our phones, it was pretty busy, but still trying to stay in the moment, be around people that we don't get to see all the time, just fully immersing ourselves into powerlifting. And I think we actually trained 7 days in a row last week, which is not something that we obviously advise, but yeah, like Trevor said, he deadlifted conventional Friday, sumo Saturday, and then squatted Sunday. I squatted Friday, pulled sumo Saturday, and squatted again on Sunday. And I still have my numbers, which I was really I was trying my prescribed numbers too. I thought I was going to have to drop them, but I found a belt. Chris Bridgeford and I were sharing the same belt. We're not the same size.
You gave him some good juju on that pole.
Yeah, we're not the same size, so my belt was about 4 inches too big for my waist, and I didn't have knee sleeves, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to actually do the prescribed weight and not be a little bitch today, even though it was my 7th day training in a row, running on, 4 to 5 hours of sleep 2 nights in a row because we don't sleep well in hotel rooms.
Maybe 3 energy drinks to get through the day.
Definitely. I definitely had at least 2, possibly 3 at the meet, and then when we got to Gracie's gym, she was like, "Oh, you guys want some energy drinks?" And we were like, "Yes, we do." So basically, what we're saying with all this is this is like a slight humble brag for us. We're pretty much talking about how hard we work and like our work ethic. But it's funny because I had a conversation with one of Trevor's athlete's girlfriends over the weekend, and she asked me, she goes, do you and Trevor, do you ever get tired of this, like what you do? Because, you know, when we're not training, we're programming someone else's lifts and we're watching someone else's lifts. And on the weekends, we're at the meets and we're watching people lift and we're helping them, you know, get through their lifts. And we also compete and do all these things. She's like, do you ever get tired of it? Like, this is what you guys do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And my first answer was, no, not really. I don't get tired of this at all because it doesn't feel like work. Like, it's something that we love doing so much that we're willing to make our fun vacation full of powerlifting.
It's full of work. Yeah, our vacation was a working vacation instead of an actual vacation. And it's interesting, you use a term that I really love, which was fully immersed. You know, we are fully immersed in this as our sport in every way, shape, or form. We are bombarded with it every day, and we love it. We look forward to it, and that is the price of our passion. So when people talk about work ethic, it usually talks about how hard they're willing to work, and I look at it a little bit differently. Is, do you love it enough to do the work? Because we're obviously talking about Successory and Successory show, and that's what it takes. If you don't love something enough to do the work, you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to fully immerse yourself in it. You're not going to enjoy the process. You're going to be one of those who are talking about trusting the process and embracing the suck, which are the dumbest hashtags in the world because you chose that suck. So if it's something you truly love, it's something you truly want, be prepared to be fully immersed. And one of the things that we were discussing in the car right up here is people will say they want something, but their actions, attitude, or behavior are geared towards something else, and it's not really a want, then it's more of a wish. And, you know, I always say this, but shit in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one fills up first. I guarantee you it's the shit hand. You have to be willing to pay that price of sacrifice of getting rid of other things that are not your priority. And to me and to Riley, this is our priority. The opportunity to train with the group of people we train with, they all coach. And so we were discussing different clients, we were discussing different tactics, we were discussing different technique of lifts, what we see, what we've tried, what we've done. It's a 2-hour clinic of learning from some of the most active people in the sport, instead of just watching a video on someone's technique cues or a Q&A or listening to a podcast. These are all people who actually do it.
Real life application was what we were getting in that moment. And you mentioned that if you're not willing to do the work for your passion, then you need to kind of reevaluate. But realistically, like if your passion feels like work, it's probably not your passion. Like, you know, like there are frustrating days, like as a coach, and you know, even if you totally love something, you're gonna be annoyed or frustrated with it from time to time. But the overwhelming majority of it should not feel like work. And you know, it's only been 2 years that I've been doing this full time. Like Trevor's far more removed from.
That's an old man. That's an old man claim right there. She's like, yeah, you old as shit.
I didn't say that.
She did not say.
You know, I'm only 2 years removed from working a standard full-time job, and I can remember that when I was working that job, which I hated, by the way. You know, I was a store manager of a supplement store, and I enjoy supplements and, you know, helping people and whatnot, but the corporate structure was not something that I enjoyed. And so what I did when I decided that I wanted to coach full-time was I fully immersed myself as much in it as I possibly could when I wasn't already working 50 hours a week. So that's what the Vitamin Shop, I was working like 45 to 50 hours a week, sometimes more because, you know, when you're the manager and people don't show up for their shifts, you have to work them. So there would be some weeks where I'd be clocking like 65 hours a week, and then I'd get off work and I'd go immediately to the gym, and I'd have like a 3 to 4 hour workout session doing my work, helping someone else's, helping a client or something like that, and then I'd have to go home and eat and go to sleep and wake up the next day and kind of do it all again. And I only had 2 days off, hopefully 2 days off a week, in case, or if someone didn't fuck me over, I had 2 days off a week. So those 2 days that I wasn't at the Vitamin Shop, I would be sitting at my kitchen island working and doing programming, because then I think I had about 20 clients around that time. Or I would go down to Dark Matter around the corner and work from there and sitting in a coffee shop, so that way I couldn't be distracted by my own house. But pretty much every moment that I wasn't at Vitamin Shop, and let's be real, even when I was at Vitamin Shop, I was reviewing client videos, I was reading books, I was watching YouTube videos, doing all that stuff to fully immerse myself into coaching, so that way I knew that I could eventually transition away from the corporate job that I didn't want to be in into coaching. And it took me, I want to say it took me about a year of doing both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I had fun and like go out to eat, but when I was out to eat with friends, I was watching client videos or doing something that was actually productive to the goal that I had. So I wasn't afraid to work for the goal that I had because I knew ultimately I wanted to coach full time instead of being stuck in this job that I kind of hate and I don't really see it going anywhere. So I did what was necessary to do that, and
You made that your priority.
Absolutely.
Like you said, even though you were out with friends, you were still looking at client videos on the phone and letting your friends know, listen, this is my job, this is what I have to do.
I got so much shit.
Yeah.
I get so much shit from friends.
I've been told a lot, your face is buried in the phone. I'm like, yeah, they're my priority right now. I love you, and I'm happy to hang out with you. Sorry, Eric, my brother. They have to schedule visits. But that's my priority. I prioritize my passion, and it doesn't ever feel like work. Do I get tired and fatigued from it? Absolutely. 80-hour weeks are fatiguing, especially with training on top of that and travel. But it's my passion, so I don't find it to be a problem to do it. I don't find it to be an effort to do it. I don't despise doing it. Like, oh man, there's 100 messages I gotta get to. Like, that's daunting. Yeah, like you said, you're like, oh, there's 100 messages to get to. But I'm like, okay, cool. One by one, I'll knock them off.
Yep.
But I'm gonna enjoy talking to them. I'm gonna enjoy watching their video. I'm gonna enjoy helping them. And so my passion covers the price. The price of admission is my passion. I love it enough that it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun to have these conversations, to go to these meets, to travel. And we were never still a weekend except for when we were working in the hotel, which is kind of funny. Like even in the meet, I was loading and unloading plates, changing rack heights, doing things, getting people involved, queuing back and forth, amping lifters up, bringing lifters down, catching, passing out 290-pound Chris. And then after that, I went and lifted, and I could have easily said, you know what, I'll start my lifting tomorrow when we get home. But it was more like, nah, I'm here. I'm in the gym.
We didn't even question it. We got there Saturday, and it wasn't even like, well, should we go to the gym, or should we just check into the hotel and chill and relax? There was no question. It was like, all right, we are going to check in, and then we're gonna go lift. And
right.
Then, we after lifting, we were like, oh, maybe we could go. I think we're gonna watch the fights. We thought about watching the fights, but then we both quickly realized we still have programs to send out.
Right.
Like there are people that are relying on us sending them their programs. We need to get those out.
We need a choice.
Yep. So we ordered pizza, had it delivered to the hotel. It was delicious. Trevor ate the whole thing.
I ate my whole pie, and it wasn't a personalized pizza. It was a whole pie because I like to succeed. Single serving size. Riley only had 3 slices. What a wuss.
Paul, I was just tracking the macros.
Yeah, sure you were. You probably still lost weight just to how it goes. But I chose not to be rude, and so I look at that, and we look at successful people. And I'm like, man, they're so lucky. And I'm like, you have no idea what they do. And take someone like Elon Musk, for example, who brought Tesla up. But Tesla, he actually started PayPal, sold it off, invested his money that he took from the money at PayPal, and started off with bought into Tesla, became the majority owner, built Tesla up, and then reinvested some of his money from Tesla into SpaceX. He's building SpaceX up. He's got an underground tunnel company in California that's going to change the way you can commute and transport there. Like he's always working. Now he's working on Neuralink programming, which would be a brain implant for people who had stroke or brain disease or issues that can help them with cognitive function. Like he's never satisfied with what he's doing. He's always working towards more, and he just keeps going and going and going because he loves it. This is a guy who works 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people talk about that, like, how do you keep doing it? He's like, I'm not doing anything, I'm doing what I love.
Yep.
The price is his passion, and people don't get that. They're like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that. Bullshit. We're gonna do it. It's another call episode. Then fucking do it. Yeah. If that's your passion, put everything else aside, put your passion first, work towards it, get these things done, protect your time, set your standards, we talked about that. If you are not willing to put your passion as a priority, it is not your passion, it's your fantasy.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to think that you want something and then to be kind of scared about the work that comes along with it. When I transitioned fully,
let's change the word from work to effort.
Okay.
Because if we look at it as like, oh, I have to do this amount of work, then it's work. Mm-hmm. But I have to do this amount of effort. Well, you can always put in more effort.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're willing to put in a lot of effort to your training, but you're not willing to put a lot of effort into your passion, then it's not your passion either. Right. So that's when you kind of need to check it out and see if that's really what you should be doing. But when I transitioned from that corporate job to coaching full time, I kind of just went all in. Mm-hmm. I didn't give myself the option to not do this. At the time, I think that I came to Florida. When I came to Florida, when I stopped working for Vitamin Shop. I think when I got here, I had a little over 30 clients, and I was like, all right, well, I need to get at least 40 to cover my bills, and then anything past that is, extra. And so that's what I did. I didn't give myself an option of, well, I'll just get a part-time job in case, I can't make ends meet, or if I can't get clients or whatever. I said, no, let's get rid of that safety net, and we're just gonna do this all in, because this is what I want to do, and I will make it happen regardless, and that means putting forth whatever effort possible. And I think that within coaching, people get caught up on the marketing aspect of it, right? Which is important. You should obviously be posting about it on your social media, not like a tool. Don't do the 3 spots left every week, telling people
I
that
always have 3 spots left.
Yeah, don't do that. But I think people overvalue the marketing and how fancy their staged pictures can look and all this stuff, which, like I said, this stuff has its place. But if you're focused on actually being better at your job, you will retain and get more clients better than you would focusing on what sort of staged picture you're going to post, or what kind of coaching explanation you're going to post, or whatever these things are, because your clients talk, right? So my focus was, okay, if I'm the best coach that I possibly can to these 30 plus clients, then they will tell their friends, and then those friends will come to me and they will refer people to me. And that's exactly what happened. I put all the effort that I possibly had into getting better at my job and paying attention to those people, and becoming probably a slightly shitty friend, because I was on my phone all the time, trying to get better at my passion and my job that paid the bills. And I got more clients, and now I am pretty secure in coaching, and I have a good amount, and I am very happy with that, and I want to keep growing it. So I keep putting more effort towards learning more, putting myself in situations like this weekend where I'm surrounded by people who have been doing this way longer than me, and I just listen and I apply, and I see what they say works and what doesn't work. And we talked about a couple things in the car, even for my training and for other lifters that I have, where I'm like, hey, I have this idea. Do you think that this would work for this person? So I'm always asking questions. I'm just fully immersing, I mentioned earlier.
And those friends came back around. It's like they never done it anywhere. They're your friends. They're not going anywhere. They want to see you succeed. They want to support you.
Yeah.
And so they understood. They're like, hey, you're not giving me any time. It's like, okay, I will when I can. And then when she could, which is now, she does. So the friends didn't actually go anywhere. You didn't lose any friends over it. If you're losing a friend over it, they weren't your friend to begin with. They didn't want what's best for you. And so she talked about that, fully immersed and discussing things with people who've been in the business, or the idea. And it doesn't even just apply to our business. If I want to be a car designer, car manufacturer, I need to be around car designers and car manufacturers to find out and learn more, to immerse myself and see what they do. If I want to be a great investor, I need to go to people who invest a lot of money or do things in real estate and whatnot, understand what they do, get to understand the process, track, follow, learn, immerse myself in that. If I want to learn to speak Spanish, I should move to friggin' Spain, because I don't have a choice. I'm going to be immersed in the Spanish culture, and I'm going to have to learn how to speak Spanish. It really applies to any aspect of your life. If you want to lose 100 pounds, and you're going to start Googling everybody who's lost 100 pounds, find out what they did, what their changes are. Usually those are behavioral changes, not just counting macros or getting exercise. It's changing your totality of behavior. You become fully immersed in that. You can find success in any avenue you go to by finding people who are successful at it and immersing yourself with them. I speak to coaches just as much as I speak to athletes all day, every day, and we constantly converse with the systems we use, how we like to apply things, how we structure and organize our day. And like Riley said, I spend less time thinking about my content and more time just putting it out there. I will shoot them in the middle of the workout. I'm out of breath, overly caffeinated, but it's going to help someone, and that's going to make people aware of what I do, and they're going to reach out if they want help, if I have the ability to help them. If I don't, I recommend somebody else. But I'm just putting it out there, and I'm not taking time to think about it. Okay, I need to make sure that the sunset is cascading over my shoulder. I need to make sure I have this angle. I need to write the most witty caption possible. You're just going to get me, and me, I'm going to give you value and help you and learn and do things. And if that's what you want, I'm here for you. If it's not what you want, you'll find somebody else who will do it for you. I don't overthink the process. I'm immersed in the process.
Yeah, well, ultimately, if you're giving value, people are they're gonna value that more than your cool picture with your watermark on it or whatever it is. So
I still don't even know how to do that. I'm not gonna learn either, because you know what? I don't need it. Doesn't have value to my business. Doesn't have value to me. Doesn't have value to my coaching. I don't need a watermark cool photo that I hope goes viral. I don't care.
I mean, they look cool though.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. I guess I'll learn one day. You know what? You want to do it for me?
I knew that was coming.
See?
I was gonna say I was actually going to say there's no point in you learning. So
if you don't know how to do something, find somebody who does. Look at that. See? Here's an example.
Outsourcing.
Yes. Outsourcing. Thank you, Tim Ferriss, for teaching me that in about 2004 when I read The 4 Hour Work Week. It's all about outsourcing and time batching.
and like 10-cent tasks and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
those things are important. But yeah, it should go without saying that you would want to give maximum effort.
Maximum effort. We watched Deadpool 2 on the plane.
It should go without saying that you want to give that maximum effort to your passion. Like, it shouldn't be a question of, well, do I want to do this thing that's going to make me better at my job and achieve my goals? Why, if you're even asking that question, you fucked up.
How fast can I do this? You
Yeah.
know, when can I get to it? Give it to me. Give me more.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, over the weekend when we got to California Elite, we didn't even like hesitate to say, should we train? We were kind of just like,
Had
yeah,
nothing.
we're training.
Didn't have a belt, didn't have knee sleeves. I just had regular sneakers. I'd walk around. I had loaded plates all day in that meet back and forth for several different lifters. I'm like, all right, cool. Here's an SSB. Let's get to work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and we chose the SSB, which was like the worst bar. Just
My body was crying, but you know what? My soul was happy.
Yeah, it's just I love weekend. Trevor always asks me if I'm bored, and I think that's just how my face looks. But
Which is your face.
I love powerlifting weekends because I am very introverted, but I do have those like slight social butterfly moments. So if you see me at a powerlifting meet, there's a good chance I'm probably talking to a lot of people.
Here's a tip if you're introverted. I can't grow my hair anymore, but grow and color your hair. Put tattoos everywhere. So people are like destined to come up and talk to you like, I love your hair, or I love that tattoo. And they come right up to you. It's great. It's an icebreaker.
Everywhere we go, I think anytime we go somewhere new, I was telling Trevor in the airport, I was like, man, sometimes I wonder, like, whenever we go somewhere new, I'm like, man, why do all these people in this city have a staring problem? And then I remember
We look a little different.
well, then I remember that I have purple hair and I'm covered in tattoos. And today, actually, some old man on the plane told me that.
The dress code has changed.
Yeah, I was like, he was sitting in the first seat in
Ageism.
first class.
I think that's this new class of ageism. Like, how are these people out on the plane?
Just being a dick. Just mind your own fucking business. That doesn't cost you anything. Like, just mind your own business. I'm sorry that it's not the 1950s anymore, sir. But anyways, yeah, like I love powerlifting meets because I do get to talk to, usually, especially when we travel, like I've never been to California before, so that's actually my first time. So I've never talked to any of the people that we met this weekend. I've never talked to any of them in person. And so what I did is like, I'm kind of like a little fly on the wall, and I listen and I absorb the things, and I listen and I see how it can be applied. And I'm very open to what everyone has to say as far as like what their modalities are for coaching and stuff. But I love powerlifting weekends because there's so many different people and there's so many different thought processes and so many things that you can learn that it would be dumb for you as a coach to not put yourself in those situations. Like if you're the one coach who's standing in the corner, not talking to anyone, texting, not involving yourself, you don't go out to dinner with anyone afterwards, you don't lift with anyone, you're doing yourself a disservice because that meet can literally bring you so much knowledge and information and even connections that you didn't have before.
Opportunities, we talked about that. You don't wait for opportunities, you create opportunities. And they all start with a conversation. Once you start to get to know someone or talk to someone, you find out they have a lot in common, and maybe they have an idea for you or something they want you to work on, or they can use your help, or vice versa, you can use them. You are creating opportunities by having conversations, which is really hard for introverts to understand because they're a little bit shy and reserved. But if you can put yourself in situations where you're forced to have conversations or get people to communicate with you, like having colored hair or tattoos or just being weirdly pale and everyone, you're from Florida? Yes, I'm from Florida. I don't like the sun. The sun doesn't like me either. But creating conversations is how you create opportunities. You're not going to have them just dropped in your lap. You have to actually start a conversation with someone.
Yeah, and it's cool to be nice to people. It's cool to know people and not.
It's cool to not be a dick.
Yeah.
You want to say it so bad.
I
don't
did.
You?
Yeah, it's cool to not be a dick at powerlifting meets. I like meeting people. Like I get very socially exhausted. Like I'm gonna be very tired for the next couple of days. It's like that weird, like introverted empathy kind of thing where it just like sucks all the energy out of you. So I'm gonna be really, really tired, I'm sure, for the next couple of days. But I had such a good time talking to people that I never get a chance to talk to and won't until we go back, which might be in April. Who knows?
Yeah. Pretty sure we'll be there in April back in San Diego. Yeah. For the current.
Yeah. So I had a great weekend.
And I hope so, because we have to do this 11 more times between now and April. I have 11 travel, no, actually, what do we have? Like 11 travel trips? We have 3 in December. We have 2 possibly in January. We have 2 in March. We have 2 in April.
3 in February.
3 in February.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a busy little Sunday. Little Bed Bath and Beyond, little Home Depot. I don't know if there's gonna be enough time.
Yeah, no, I have a great time. I think that this stuff is awesome, and I think that if anyone's a coach, you should be putting yourself in situations where you can fully immerse. And if you're not a coach, or you know, are a graphic designer or photographer or something, you should be constantly putting yourself in situations where you are surrounded by people who are slightly better than you, or at the same level as you are, or just as much of a beginner as you are, because you can bounce off ideas and whatnot. But if you're not putting yourself in situations that have to do with your passion, you're missing the point.
Yeah, the price of your passion means going out there and having conversations, going out there and putting forth effort. I want to avoid the word work, because if it truly is your passion, it's not going to feel like work. It is just as time consuming, it is just as exhausting. But you know, work is like something you have to do, and this is something you should want to do.
You get to do it.
You get to do it is what I was leading to, exactly. You get to do it. So if it's truly your passion, whatever that is, you know, it doesn't involve coaching, doesn't have to involve powerlifting, that's just what we do. If it's truly your passion, you're going to look forward to the effort. You're going to not have to make tags about embracing the effort or reminding yourself of your motivation or the end goal. You're going to be pushing down doors to get to that end goal.
Yeah, and like the rest of this week, we don't really get a break either. Because like once we get off here, I'm gonna edit this, that way we can put it up for tomorrow.
I have 4 podcasts this week. One today, one tomorrow. I'll have to drive down to do a tutorial shooting video with Phil DeRue and his podcast on Wednesday, and then Coach's Corner on Thursday.
Yeah.
Technically, if you want to count next Sunday, since we'll do this, will be 5 podcasts in a 7-day period.
Yep.
You guys are gonna want me to shut up by then.
And we're both on it's Milano, right?
Yeah.
On Resilient Training Lab. We're both on his podcast. Trevor's on there. They record tomorrow. I record next Tuesday. So even just coming back from a really full weekend, we're still right back to
it.
business
Loving every
as
second
usual.
of it, yeah.
So you know, the work doesn't, the
effort
effort doesn't
doesn't
stop.
stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Anything
good.
else you want to add?
I think we got it all.
Yeah.
Is there more?
No.
I'm not caffeinated enough for more.
So
I'll
would
give
you
it to
say
them if they want
would
it.
you say you gave maximum effort?
Man, I can try harder. I'm always gonna tell you I can try harder.
Okay, well I'm cutting you off, so.
Fair enough. Cut me off. You've had enough to drink, sir.
So yes, so thank you guys for tuning in to episode 13 of the Successory Show. You can find us both on Instagram. My Instagram is @RileyPresnell. Trevor's is @JackieStrength. You can find this podcast on pretty much any possible podcast hosting site that you can think of, because we upload through Anchor, so it distributes through all of those. We also have a video format that is on YouTube under Trevor. If you just search Trevor Jackie on YouTube, you'll be able to find the video formats. But if you are somehow listening to this and you don't follow us on Instagram, go follow us on Instagram. If you haven't already, leave a 5-star review on your respective listening platform, so that way we can keep doing these and feel good about them and not feel like we suck.
I don't suck. It didn't feel that way until now. All right, thank you everyone, appreciate it.